people, DG, I'm back again. Thank you very much for having me. Now, January last year was a bit of a mess for several reasons, people. We know Emre, he wanted a centre-half. He said, I would like to get centre-half in December. It came that a centre-half wasn't coming. And then we seem to be going after wingers now, or creative players, or players that can add that sort of skill set. It seemed like one point we was getting Perisic, regardless of what people think. It didn't happen. We went hard for Carrasco. We then ended up getting Denis Suarez, which it didn't happen for Denis Suarez here, to put it nicely. His best performances is probably that little cameo he came on when we was beating United. It just hasn't happened from here. He said he wants to play in the Champions League. But he's been speaking to a Spanish paper, and it's worth bearing in mind that we had to cover his wages, and it was a £2 million loan fee for a club that claims there's not really any cash here, allegedly. He's gone on to say in this Spanish newspaper, whoever he's speaking to, about his time at Arsenal, his groin injury. I kept training, and wait, is this the first bit? Yeah, people. Yeah, he said I kept training and playing as best as I could, but neither Unai Emery nor I thought I was right. I wasn't comfortable, not even 50%. Within the first 15 days of joining Arsenal, from day 16 I wasn't even 50%. Now, clearly he was lacking match fitness, but if he was really this behind in terms of injuries and things, what was the point of bringing him into this club? Really, paying his loan fee and things like that. Obviously, if they thought his injury would get better and things like that, and if the physio saw him and thought it was cool, then it's cool. But whose decision was it? Whose decision was it? Because if we really don't have that money, yes, 2 million is not going to make us collapse as a club or as a business, better yet as well. But why did we waste that? Why did we cover his injuries if he's not fully fit, meaning he's not going to play, meaning he's wasting a side in the squad, we're wasting resources? What was the thinking behind this? That's what led me to believe initially, people, that he would stay at this club and be made a permanent transfer. Because why would you buy him? Because I was thinking, people, and I'm sure you was as well. Why would you buy him if he's not fit and he's not going to play, and for whatever reason? Surely you're bringing him now because you can get him at a deal. He'll have 6 months to kind of, maybe not in terms of playing, but adapt to London life, adapt to the team, how you like to do things, and all of these sort of things. So come around now when pre-season is starting and things like that, it's time to go harder. Oh yeah, forgive me, people. It might not have been Manchester United when he came off the bench. It might have been against Dubai when we went and played that Dubai side. But it just wasn't a good signing. So if he wasn't fit now, you must have known there was some underlying factors to it, which makes this a dud. Now, whose signing was this? Yes, you can look at the Barcelona links and Raul Sanche and pin it at his feet. Emery's worked with him before and allegedly looked like he really wanted him and all of these sort of things. Was it Emery? To which that is his sort of signing. So in terms of when people say he needs his own signing, so we've got to hold everybody account, people, and it does lead me to believe like who is, apologies for that, leading our transfer challenges, and we have to get it right. Now, regardless of your opinions on Guendouzi, Torreira, Leno and Socrates, on the face of it, they turned out to be good signings. Guendouzi still divides opinion, but come on, people, let's be real. He's turned out to be a decent signing for us, and he's better than some of the most experienced options. For regardless what you think and how frustrating he is, let's cut the crap in it. He's been a good player. Torreira's a bad boy player. There's nothing to be said. Leno is young and he's naive at times, but he's grown into his thing. Socrates, he's a stopgap signing at best due to age, but he's proved decent, and like he's been here for a season and he's better. He's done more than Mustafi, for example. So there's been 4 good signings. Obviously, we signed Lichtsteiner. It didn't bang for him, but the recruitment was good. Now, whose signings were they? Guendouzi, I'm led to believe, just in terms of who he is, and I'm sure Emery said it, not in word for word, but that's a Mislintat signing. Socrates the same. I'd be inclined to believe Leno, or maybe Emery genuinely wanted him. Torreira the same. So who is leading our transfer thinking now? We know Emery is a head coach, people, so he can have input and things like that, which I clearly think he was able to do and influence the Suarez run to a degree. But who is in charge? Like, what are we trying to do? Forgive me if I'm wrong, people, but when did Mislintat leave? Was it January, February, or not? I think February was official, but it was January, right, people? That's when we started to start moving a bit mad in the transfer market. Or am I lying, people? That's when regardless what you think about Perisic, you were seeing odd ones. You were seeing Perisic who, in terms of player, he's a player, people, of course we know, but in terms of his age and all of these sort of things, it didn't make quite sense. Then you saw someone different like Carrasco. Then you're seeing Denis Suarez. Then you're seeing a whole heap of different players. You can't really source pinpoint our transfer. Like, what is our transfer policy and who is leading it right now, people? Really, what's going on, people? Like, really and truly, what's going on? Now, it's still early in the transfer market. People would say there's no need to panic, but I think out of all the top 6, we need to move the best. We need to really get our kick up the backside the most. Better yet, we'll see how it goes. It's still early, so I'm not panicking myself. I would love to. I said I'm prepared to be disappointing people, but where I am as an Arsenal fan now after that final, I just want to see centre half and a left back. I would love a winger. I'd love all of these sort of guys, midfielder, all of these sort of things, and another option, a proper right back at right back to play if Bellerin's not about, and to compete with Bellerin. I would love. We know there's a lot of stuff we would love. Not necessarily a 10. When I say 10, a creative player, that could score goals, assists, and do them things, take us to the next level. There's bare man that I would like at this club. But for me, if we really are broke and ain't got this cash, and I know it's even going to be harsh, but if it was up to me, centre half and a left back, people, please, because at least you've brought in Leno, you've brought in Socrates, who's going to be here for a year or so or whatever. Regardless, just of course you love world class centre halves and that, but Socrates holding to come back, Bellerin when he comes back. You've just signed Leno, so give Leno something to work with a decent back 4 or 3 or whatever. I like Cole. I think he can be used in the squad, but in terms of first choice left back, I don't think he's the guy. I want him to prove me wrong and improve defensively, but I don't think he's the guy for this thing. So I'm just back to basics. From you got a back 5, you can go forward. Then it's just a case of us improving our midfield, being a bit dynamic, defending our defensive line from midfield and all these other things. But I personally don't feel we can achieve anything until we have a decent back 4, people. And it can't happen, people. If we're not going to do that, a better improvement defensively. I think I'm at the point where I believe that can only be done with certain signings now, because some of these players, clearly, and Emery must believe it as well, are uncoachable. And again, I don't think Socrates is the answer. I think at best he's a third choice, but I think he's done all right this season. He's been turned out to be a better signing than I thought. I don't know if he should be given captaincy, but if I look at players... There's players you can make a case to be captain and have been the captain, but if I'm looking at it, only Lacazette and Socrates scream out to me, and even them, like, it's still a bit, I'm oohing and ahhing. Not really anyone screams out captaincy. Personally, I don't really give, obviously I care about the captaincy, but when I look back at grassroots days, yeah, Trey might have been the captain, but there was it's cliche, but it was 12 captains. That doesn't mean 11 captains, pardon me, people. I should know how many players on the pitch. 12 including our manager, I saved myself. But everybody was, and that doesn't mean everybody is shouting at everyone and carrying on. That means everyone holds themselves accountable. The fear of letting your fellow man down. Like I tell you, I was a right back. I don't want to let my centre halves down. The centre half don't want to let his centre half partner down. Keeper don't want to let the team down. Left back don't want to let the team down. Strikers don't want to miss chances. If everyone holds themselves accountable and fights for their fellow man or woman on a football pitch, anything is possible in terms of things. Until we do these things consistently and they become not something that we praise, myself included. I praise Arsenal when I see us fighting for each other and rigidness. These are things that you shouldn't be praised for. These are standard things. These are standard things at any other football club. Being consistent, fighting, these are basic minimum things for a team that wants to win or establish themselves or do anything or just improve their situation. Shouldn't praise them for that. It's a dead example, but you don't praise me for being consistent with this YouTube stuff. I started it, so I have to finish it. Of course, I like it. Of course, people, that you praise me. But it's the bare minimum. It is the bare minimum. I have to be consistent. I have this thing. I have to be here. Don't praise me for consistency. It's the bare minimum. You sign up to something, you follow it through. There's no excuses next season. Pre-season, you can't fix everything. You're not going to see us miraculously turn overnight and become a good team. And if you do, you should really think about what you're doing, because people were so quick to say that when we was going 22 games unbeaten. It don't make sense. But what we need to do is start making the steps in the right direction. Improve tactically and technically with the odd few players that are deemed good enough really in an ideal world to move forward with. Realistically, a lot of the players that we don't believe are good enough are going to be here next season, people. So we need to be realistic with what we're saying. But they need to fight for themselves, because they're fighting. They're not even fighting for the football club now. Away from the football club, you're fighting for your name. I believe a lot of these players are actually fighting for top level careers now. And I thought I was exaggerating at first, when I first heard that, and then someone say that. And then I started to deep it to myself. A lot of these players might not cut the mustard at other Premier League clubs, you know. Off the top of my head, I think Holding can get into another one. I think Socrates, I think Torreira and the two strikers in Aubameyang and Lacazette. No one can talk nonsense. Guendouzi can as well. Hector can just about. I don't think Kohler can. I think Kohler can, but he can't at the same time. Realistically, he can, but I think it's a bit tough as much as I like him. Xhaka can, but it's a bit techie. Let's not be dumb. Ozil can, for all his nonsense. Mkhitaryan just about. But these are even players. Even the names I'm saying and the names you can. You're looking, no disrespect to them, but you're just looking at them and it's yeah, he can, I suppose. Yeah. It's not definite, and that doesn't mean you have to be a world class player. I'm just consistency guy. You look at Milner, no disrespect, he's not world class. He walks into teams. Look at that Liverpool side. Matip at this moment in time, playing consistent and not wanting to let his team down, can get in the side. Origi off the bench can get in a couple sides. You get it now because they have belief. They've improved defensively and they have their qualities, but they have belief. Trent don't want to let his midfielders down. Robertson don't want to let the team down. Klopp don't want to let the fans down. You see what I'm saying? People don't want to let people down. They don't want to let themselves down. They want to fight for themselves. Until we start adopting them sort of things there, you can forget about achieving anything. Because it really annoys me, people. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to sound like a Grinch. I praise my team the handful of times. United at home, Chelsea at home, Spurs, 2 games against Spurs in the league, the 1-1 victory against Liverpool, the route to the I wish it was champs, to the Europa League final, including the turnarounds in games. Handful of times, people. You see how I've named them. I praise my team. I was gassed when we did it. You lot follow me on Snaps and watch my YouTube. I was gassed. But I shouldn't be praising my team for showing fight, commitment, drive and things. These are bare minimum things. You look at 04. You look at... Again, I hate my United fan friends that watch my vids. Big up yourself. But you look at any of the teams under Ferguson. You look at City, Liverpool in the Champions League. And they ran the... I know the media's behaving like they won the league, but they ran the thing close. These are the things. Bare minimum. Do you think Liverpool Klopp is praising them for showing commitment and stuff? Them man, they are galvanised. Klopp gasses them and Klopp tells them stuff, but Klopp only needs to reiterate things to them. They know what they can do. They know the task at hand. They knew better yet the results of bottling games and things. Yes, they dropped 9 points last season and that's where they went wrong in the league. And they'll have to get better. But do you see it? City, they don't need to... You heard all them players when people were chatting nonsense about City and Liverpool were saying... Liverpool going on top of them and people saying City are going to shake it and stuff like that. It weren't Pep talking. It was Bernardo Silva, Kevin De Bruyne. They're saying, we know what to do. We're not bothered about this. We know what to do. Sterling as well. Do you see it? Them man, what they wanted to do stuff. Listen to what they say. Beyond the obvious, I want to win league titles. Listen to specific statements, people. And these are people that are galvanized. Emre's job should be simply to do the tactics and be someone. Every now and again, you need to gas the team, of course. But he should be the lieutenant. All the soldiers should know the job at hand, people. Kings of the North and them things there. Yes, I've just started watching Game of Thrones. They don't need to... Jon Snow don't need to tell these Northermen to fight and believe in this thing. Do you get it, people? We don't want to be like the Lannisters where they were doing them thing there out of force because they crumbled. They're crumbling now. I'm at the bit, people, where what's happening to the Lannisters? The Dragon Girl is coming and burning everyone in one episode and Jamie jumped in. Sorry if you're behind me, but I'm in the early seasons. But Jamie Lannister jumped in the ocean. But moving away from Game of Thrones, where we're talking about football, you get the point. Because there's no excuses next season. Not for no one in the back room, not for none of the players, not for as much as I like Gooner. No excuses. We are making mistakes. We will make mistakes again and again. We will not... I would love in an ideal world to win every trophy, every game in the Prem, every Europa League. Who wants to lose? But we will. The players will let us down in periods. The manager will let us down with tactics at times. These things happen. But it's about minimising. It's about looking at them ones there and being like, it was a one-off, fair enough, mistakes happen. Or we just lost to the better team. Or I don't condone it, but the ref's nonsense. We shouldn't be losing games because we're switching off defensively and we haven't set out well and we're scared of away teams. And we shouldn't be doing that sort of nonsense, people. We shouldn't. The average squad age of this side, forgive me if I'm wrong, is about 27. Come on now, you lot of big men. Come on. Come on. I'm sorry for the outdated terms and that, but no one needs to tell you the opportunity you have at hand. Yes, Arsenal have fallen away, but still, do you know how lucky some of these players are? You're playing for a top 6 club, you're getting paid big money, you're playing for one of the most followed religiously clubs in the world, top 6. Let's not gas it. Arsenal have fallen off, but you still know what we do and have done in this football stuff. Do you know how lucky you are? And some of these players, due to ability, don't cut it. Some of these players know that and they have an easy ride. And I don't feel personally, the one thing, I don't feel there's a healthy fear of losing in this team. I feel these players would like to achieve things and they don't want to lose, but I don't feel it genuinely ruins people's day when they've lost. I think these guys get a hard thingy people because there is bondness and togetherness, but I don't feel they're winners like that. I'm not talking winners just because you have league trophies in your cabinet. I'm talking how you behave. You looking at Jens Lehmann and Sol Campbell. Remember when they won the league title? They're ready to batter and bruise each other. Do you get it, people? Do you get it? How many times, and I'm sure if we were talked about the sort of backstories with the Emirates and that, how many times did the Invincibles want to tear lumps out each other when they've won and drawn and things like that? Elite mentality, people, taking the professionalism to the greatest thing. I think players can come out and people can come out and say, well, we know what we need to do. We need to move forward and this and that. Seeing is believing. And you don't know me. I'm never one to rant and rave and do these things, and I haven't done this and I don't do that. But there's no excuses. What I hate is excuses. Call it how it is. And time after time, we've let ourselves down. That is what it is. But people, moving forward, there's not much more for me to say, people, man. So I'm going to get out of here. People, thank you for watching and rocking as usual, man. Your support means the most. Love to hear some of you lot's comments, or get in the comments. Like the vid for me, people. Subscribe to the thing if you ain't. Share it up, man. DG Nation, thank you very much. God bless. I'm out.